Ladies, let's have a real talk today. You are incredible, powerful, and worthy of a love that makes you feel valued, not depleted. But somewhere along the way, many women start believing that in order to keep a man, they have to prove their worth by giving, sacrificing, and compromising their own happiness. So today, I'm going to tell you 9 things you should never do for a man, because love isn't about losing yourself. It's about sharing yourself with someone who respects and values you. Never abandon your dreams for him. Your dreams are not just random desires. They are an essential part of who you are. They represent your passion, your ambition, and the unique contribution you are meant to make in this world. Yet too many women find themselves in relationships where they slowly and sometimes unknowingly begin to put their own aspirations on hold for the sake of a man. It starts subtly. Maybe you take a step back from a career opportunity because he doesn't want you working late hours. Maybe you pass on an exciting project because it would mean spending less time with him. Maybe you hold off on moving to a new city because he isn't ready for that kind of change. Before you know it, the dreams that once lit you up start to fade into the background, replaced by his priorities, his schedule, and his goals. Compromise is a natural part of any relationship, but there is a difference between healthy compromise and sacrificing your future for someone else's comfort. A relationship should be a place where both people grow together, where you uplift and support each other, not where one person's dreams come at the cost of the others. If a man truly loves and respects you, he will encourage your ambitions, not discourage them. He will celebrate your successes, not feel threatened by them. He will want you to become the best version of yourself, not a shadow of what you once were. Too often, women are conditioned to believe that love requires sacrifice, especially sacrifice from their end. Society romanticizes the idea of the selfless woman who gives everything to her relationship, putting her dreams on hold in the name of love. But real love doesn't ask you to shrink yourself. Real love doesn't demand that you walk away from the goals that make you feel alive. A healthy relationship should feel like an expansion, where you and your partner both evolve into greater versions of yourselves. If being with someone is causing you to play small, then that's not love. It's control disguised as affection. One of the biggest reasons women abandon their dreams for a man is fear. Fear that pursuing their ambitions will push him away. Fear that their success will make him feel insecure. Fear that if they choose their dreams, they might lose the relationship. But here's the truth. If going after what you want causes a man to leave, then he was never truly meant to stay. The right partner won't be intimidated by your growth. He will be inspired by it. He won't see your ambition as competition, but as something to admire. He won't hold you back. He'll cheer you on every step of the way. Another common reason women put their dreams on the back burner is the belief that there will be plenty of time later. But the problem with waiting is that time moves fast. 1 year turns into 5, 5 turns into 10, and before you know it, the passion you once had feels like a distant memory. You wake up realizing that you spent years supporting someone else's dreams while yours sat on a shelf collecting dust. And here's the hardest truth. When a woman gives up her dreams for a man, she often ends up resenting both him and herself. She resents him for not recognizing her sacrifice, and she resents herself for making it in the first place. Your dreams are not a luxury. They are not optional. They are a fundamental part of your identity. No relationship, no matter how much love is involved, should require you to trade in your goals for someone else's comfort. The most fulfilling partnerships are the ones where both people are allowed to grow, to chase their dreams, and to become everything they were meant to be. So if you ever find yourself in a situation where you're being asked to choose between love and your dreams, remember this: the right love will never make you choose. The right man will want you to have both. And most importantly, you should want that for yourself. The next one is never change who you are just to please him. There is nothing more exhausting than trying to be someone you're not just to keep someone else happy. Yet, so many women fall into this trap when they really like a guy or want to make a relationship work. It often starts subtly. You adjust little things, your opinions, your interests, the way you dress, because you sense that he might like you better that way. Maybe you pretend to love a certain type of music or act less opinionated about topics you actually care about. Maybe you downplay your intelligence so he doesn't feel intimidated, or you start dressing differently because you think it will make you more attractive to him. At first it seems harmless, but over time these small changes add up, and before you know it, you've lost sight of who you really are. The need to be accepted is natural. As human beings, we all crave connection, and when we really like someone, we want to be liked in return. But there's a difference between making small compromises in a relationship and completely altering your personality, values, or passions to fit into someone else's idea of what they want in a partner. If you have to change fundamental parts of yourself to make a relationship work, then the relationship is not built on real love, it's built on an illusion. A relationship should be a place where you feel safe being your true, authentic self. The right person will love you for who you are, not for the version of yourself you think you need to be. If you find yourself constantly filtering your words, walking on eggshells, or suppressing parts of your personality just to avoid conflict or keep his interest, then you are not in a healthy relationship. You are in a performance. And no one can keep up an act forever without feeling drained, frustrated, and resentful. Many women change themselves for a man out of fear. Fear that if they don't adjust, they won't be good enough. Fear that if they show their true selves, they won't be loved. Fear that if they express their real needs and wants, they will be seen as too much. But the truth is, the right man will never make you feel like you need to be anything other than yourself. Love that requires you to hide, shrink, or pretend is not love. It's control. A lot of times, women don't even realize they are changing for a man until it's too late. It happens gradually. One small compromise here, one small lie there. But over time, the more you suppress yourself, the more disconnected you become from who you really are. And what's worse, even after changing so much, you may still find yourself feeling unfulfilled in the relationship. Why? Because deep down, you know that he's not really in love with you. He's in love with the version of you that you created for him. The most painful thing is when a woman wakes up one day and realizes she doesn't recognize herself anymore. She's lost her confidence, her passions, and the spark that made her unique. And the worst part? A man who needed her to change in order to be with her will never truly appreciate her because he never valued her in the first place. The relationships that last, the ones that are fulfilling, joyful, and real, are the ones where both people can be fully themselves without fear of judgment. The best love story you can ever have is the one where you don't have to perform, where you don't have to edit yourself, where you don't have to constantly worry about saying or doing the wrong thing. When you are with the right person, you won't feel the pressure to fit into a mold. You will feel free to be exactly who you are, flaws and all, and still be deeply loved and valued. So if you ever find yourself bending over backward to impress a guy or changing parts of yourself just to fit into his world, take a step back and ask yourself, is this really me? Because the truth is, the moment you start pretending to be someone else is the moment you lose the magic of who you really are. And that magic is exactly what the right person will fall in love with. Never tolerate disrespect. Disrespect is one of the biggest red flags in any relationship, yet so many women ignore it, excuse it, or try to justify it because they love the person who is treating them poorly. It often starts small, a sarcastic comment that stings, a joke at your expense, a dismissive tone when you share your thoughts. Maybe he interrupts you when you're speaking, belittles your opinions, or makes you feel like your emotions are irrational. At first you tell yourself it's not a big deal, you brush it off, thinking he didn't mean it that way, or maybe you convince yourself you're being too sensitive. But over time, these small acts of disrespect add up, and before you know it, you're stuck in a relationship where you no longer feel valued, heard, or respected. The biggest mistake women make when faced with disrespect is thinking it will stop on its own. It won't. A man who disrespects you once and faces no consequences will do it again and again. Disrespect, if tolerated, only escalates. What starts as eye-rolling and dismissive behavior can turn into constant criticism, emotional manipulation, and even verbal or psychological abuse. When you allow someone to cross a boundary without addressing it, you're teaching them that it's okay to keep doing it. And the longer it continues, the harder it becomes to stand up for yourself, because at some point you start to question your own worth. Many women tolerate disrespect because they believe that if they just love someone enough, he will change. They think that if they are patient, understanding, and forgiving, he will realize what he's doing and start treating them better. But that's not how it works. You cannot change a person by tolerating their bad behavior. Respect is not something you beg for, nor is it something you earn by proving yourself. It is something you should expect as a basic foundation of any relationship. A man who truly cares about you will respect you naturally without you having to convince him that you deserve it. Another reason women put up with disrespect is fear. Fear of being alone, fear of confrontation, or fear that no one else will love them. But staying in a relationship where you are constantly disrespected is far lonelier than being single. Being with someone who dismisses your feelings, undermines your intelligence, or treats you like you're less than is not love, it's control. And no relationship is worth losing your self-respect over. It's important to understand that disrespect comes in many forms. It's not just about name-calling or obvious insults. Sometimes it's more subtle. It's the way he dismisses your concerns as drama. It's how he makes fun of your insecurities instead of reassuring you. It's how he talks over you in conversations as if your voice doesn't matter. It's how he flirts with other women in front of you and calls you crazy when you bring it up. These behaviors, no matter how small they seem, chip away at your confidence and self-worth over time. Standing up against disrespect doesn't mean starting fights or trying to change someone. It means setting clear boundaries and being willing to walk away from anyone who repeatedly crosses them. If a man truly values you, he will respect those boundaries. And if he doesn't, then he's not the right person for you. A man who loves you will listen when you express your feelings. He will take responsibility for his actions instead of blaming you for overreacting. He will make an effort to treat you with kindness, patience, and respect, because that's what real love looks like. The truth is, the way a man treats you is a direct reflection of how he feels about you. And the way you allow yourself to be treated is a reflection of how you feel about yourself. When you demand respect, you send a message, not just to him, but to yourself, that you are worthy of love that uplifts you, not one that tears you down. You are not here to teach a grown man how to be decent. You are not here to tolerate half-hearted love, mixed signals, or behavior that makes you feel small. You are here to be cherished, valued, and treated with the respect you deserve. Never give more than you're receiving. A healthy relationship is built on balance, both people giving, supporting, and uplifting each other in equal measure. But too often women find themselves in situations where they are giving far more than they are receiving. They pour their time, energy, love, and effort into a man who barely meets them halfway. They make excuses for his lack of effort, convincing themselves that if they just love him enough, if they just try a little harder, he will finally step up and reciprocate. But relationships don't work that way. Love is not something you should have to earn by overextending yourself while the other person sits back and takes. It's easy to fall into the trap of giving too much, especially when you care deeply about someone. You want to show them how much they mean to you, so you go out of your way to make them happy. You initiate all the plans, put in the emotional effort, and support their dreams while expecting very little in return. You convince yourself that being understanding and patient will eventually make them appreciate you. But what really happens is that they get comfortable. They get used to the idea that you will always be the one doing the work. And as a result, they stop feeling the need to contribute. A relationship should feel like a two-way street. It should never feel like you are constantly chasing someone's affection or proving your worth through your actions. If you are always the one texting first, making compromises, or adjusting your life to accommodate theirs while they barely do the same, that's a sign of an unbalanced relationship. And the truth is, a love that is one-sided is not really love. It's emotional labor disguised as devotion. One of the reasons women end up giving more than they receive is because they believe that's what love requires. Society has conditioned women to be nurturers, to be the ones who hold relationships together, to be the ones who sacrifice. But the reality is, a relationship where only one person is constantly giving is not a partnership. It's an emotional drain. Love should never leave you feeling exhausted, unappreciated, or taken for granted. Another common reason women overgive is the fear of losing the relationship. They think that if they stop trying so hard, if they stop being the one holding everything together, the relationship will fall apart. But here's the truth. If your relationship only survives because you are the one doing all the work, then it was never truly stable to begin with. A real connection should not rely on one person carrying the weight of the relationship while the other puts in minimal effort. Giving more than you receive also creates an unhealthy dynamic where the other person begins to expect your effort without appreciating it. They start to take you for granted, not because they are necessarily a bad person, but because they have learned that you will always be there no matter what. And when someone gets too comfortable taking without giving, the relationship becomes unfulfilling, leaving you feeling resentful, unimportant, and emotionally drained. The key to a healthy relationship is mutual effort. Both partners should feel valued, respected, and appreciated. You should never have to beg for the basics: respect, love, time, and effort. A person who truly cares about you will want to make you feel special, not just sit back while you do all the work. If you ever find yourself in a situation where you are constantly giving but rarely receiving, take a step back and ask yourself, is this what I deserve? The right person for you will not let you carry the relationship alone. They will meet you halfway, show up for you, and make you feel just as loved and cherished as you make them feel. Because real love is not about how much you can give, it's about how much you can grow together. Never stay just because you're afraid to be alone. Staying in a relationship just because you're afraid to be alone is one of the biggest mistakes you can make. It's understandable. Loneliness can be scary. The idea of starting over, of facing the world without the comfort of a partner can feel overwhelming, but staying with someone who isn't right for you just because you fear being alone is a far greater risk than being single. It means settling for less than you deserve. It means putting your happiness, growth, and potential on hold for the sake of familiarity. And worst of all, it means choosing a life that doesn't truly fulfill you simply because you're afraid of what might happen if you walk away. Many women stay in unfulfilling relationships because they've convinced themselves that something is better than nothing. They tell themselves that even though they aren't truly happy, at least they have someone. They settle for a partner who doesn't treat them the way they deserve because they think finding real love is impossible or that they won't be able to do any better. But that kind of thinking is dangerous. It keeps you trapped in a situation where you are not valued, not cherished, and not truly happy. It makes you accept the bare minimum instead of demanding the kind of love that makes you feel alive. Fear of being alone can also trick you into believing that leaving a relationship means failure. Many women hold on to relationships long past their expiration date because they've invested time, effort, and emotions. They think that if they walk away, all of that will have been for nothing. But staying in a relationship that isn't making you happy is not a sign of commitment, it's a sign of fear. The truth is, a relationship that is not fulfilling is already a loss, whether you acknowledge it or not. You are losing time, energy, and opportunities for a better life every day that you choose to stay in something that doesn't truly serve you. One of the biggest lessons in life is understanding that being alone is not the worst thing in the world. In fact, being alone can be one of the most powerful and transformative experiences you ever have. It gives you the space to rediscover yourself, to reconnect with your passions, and to build a life that is fulfilling on your own. When you learn to be comfortable with yourself, you stop accepting relationships that drain you. You stop clinging to situations that no longer bring you joy. You stop settling for less than you deserve because you know that you are enough on your own. Many women fear being alone because they believe it means loneliness. But being single and being lonely are two very different things. You can be in a relationship and feel lonelier than ever if your partner doesn't truly see you, support you, or care for you in the way you need. On the other hand, you can be single and feel more fulfilled than ever because you are surrounded by meaningful friendships, pursuing your passions, and building a life that excites you. The key is understanding that your happiness should never depend on another person. It should come from within. Walking away from a relationship when you're afraid of being alone is not easy. It requires courage. It requires trust in yourself. But staying in a relationship out of fear will only rob you of the chance to find something better, whether that's a healthier relationship in the future or the peace and fulfillment that comes with truly knowing yourself. The moment you stop seeing being single as a problem to be solved and start seeing it as an opportunity to grow, everything changes. If you ever find yourself staying in a relationship just because you're afraid of what life might look like on your own, ask yourself, am I truly happy? Am I being loved the way I deserve? Is this the life I want for myself? If the answer is no, then you already know what you need to do. Because the right relationship will never make you feel like you are trapped. The right person will never make you fear being alone. And the life you are meant to live, the life that will bring you true happiness, begins the moment you choose yourself over your fears. Never apologize for your standards. Having standards in a relationship is not a bad thing, it's a necessity. Your standards are a reflection of what you value, what you need, and what you believe you deserve. Yet so many women are made to feel guilty for having them. They are told they are being too picky, too demanding, or that their expectations are unrealistic. They are pressured to lower their standards, compromise their needs, and settle for less than they truly want just to keep a relationship or avoid being alone. But the truth is, the right man will never make you feel like you have to apologize for expecting respect, effort, and love. The moment you start apologizing for your standards, you start allowing behavior that does not align with your values. You begin making excuses for why it's okay that he doesn't prioritize you, why it's not a big deal that he's inconsistent, why you should be more understanding when he doesn't show up for you emotionally. But what you're really doing is teaching yourself to accept less than you deserve. You are training yourself to settle, and settling never leads to happiness. Many women lower their standards because they fear losing someone. They think that if they hold firm to what they want, they will end up alone. But here's the truth. The wrong man will leave because of your standards, but the right man will rise to meet them. The wrong man will call you difficult, but the right man will admire your self-respect. The wrong man will walk away, and that's a good thing, because you don't want to be with someone who only stays when you make it easy for him. Your standards are not too high just because they require effort. Effort is the foundation of any strong relationship. If you expect honesty, loyalty, consistency, and emotional availability, that is not asking for too much. That is asking for the basics. And anyone who makes you feel like your standards are unreasonable is simply not willing to put in the effort that a healthy relationship requires. A man who truly values you will not feel burdened by your standards. He will respect them. He will understand that you know your worth and that you refuse to accept anything less. He will appreciate that you expect the best for yourself, because that means you will also bring the best to the relationship. A strong, confident man does not run from a woman with standards. He rises to the challenge because he knows that anything worthwhile requires effort. Some women fear that their standards will scare men away, but the only men who will be scared off are the ones who are never capable of meeting them in the first place. And isn't that exactly what you want? To filter out the ones who aren't willing to treat you right? Your standards are not pushing away the right man. They are protecting you from wasting time on the wrong one. Having standards does not mean being rigid or unwilling to compromise. It means knowing the difference between compromising and settling. It means understanding that while no one is perfect, there are certain non-negotiables that you should never ignore: respect, trust, kindness, and effort. It means refusing to tolerate mistreatment just because you're afraid of losing someone. At the end of the day, the most important relationship you have is the one with yourself. The way you allow others to treat you is a reflection of how you see yourself. If you constantly lower your standards to accommodate someone else, you are telling yourself that you are not worthy of the love and respect you truly desire. But when you stand firm in your worth, you attract people who see it too. So never apologize for expecting love that is consistent. Never apologize for wanting a partner who is emotionally available. Never apologize for requiring respect, honesty, and effort. The right person will not only meet your standards, but will be grateful that you have them, because a relationship built on real effort and mutual respect is the only kind that is truly worth having. Never lose your friendships for him. When you fall in love, it's easy to get caught up in the excitement of a new relationship. You want to spend every moment with him, make memories, and build a strong connection. But in the process, many women unintentionally start neglecting their friendships. They cancel plans, stop replying to messages as often, and gradually distance themselves from the people who have been there for them long before this relationship started. And while it may not seem like a big deal at first, over time, losing those friendships can leave you feeling isolated and disconnected from an important part of your life. A healthy relationship should never require you to give up your friendships. The right man will understand that your friends are a vital part of your life, and he will encourage you to maintain those bonds rather than pull you away from them. If he discourages you from spending time with your friends, makes you feel guilty for wanting a life outside of the relationship, or constantly demands all of your attention, that is a red flag. Love should not be possessive or controlling. It should be supportive and balanced. Friendships are essential for emotional support, happiness, and personal growth. Your friends are the ones who uplift you when you're struggling, celebrate your victories, and remind you of who you are outside of your relationship. If you give up those friendships for a man, you risk losing a part of yourself. And if the relationship ever ends, you may find yourself feeling lost and alone, realizing too late that you pushed away the very people who would have been there to support you. Another mistake women make is assuming that their romantic relationship is enough to fulfill all their emotional needs. But no one person, no matter how much they love you, can be your everything. A healthy life includes a variety of relationships that bring joy, perspective, and fulfillment. Your friends provide a different kind of companionship than a partner does. They give you space to be yourself, to laugh, to share experiences, and to have meaningful conversations that don't revolve around romance. A strong, confident man will want you to have a life outside of him. He will not feel threatened by your friendships or try to isolate you. Instead, he will respect your need for other meaningful connections and even encourage you to spend time with the people who make you happy. A man who truly cares about you will want you to be surrounded by love, not just his, but the love of your friends and family as well. If you find yourself in a relationship where you feel pressured to give up your friendships, take a step back and ask yourself why. Is he trying to control you? Is he insecure? Or are you unintentionally prioritizing the relationship so much that you're neglecting other important people in your life? A good relationship will enhance your life, not shrink it. Love should expand your world, not limit it. So stay connected to your friends, nurture those relationships, and never lose the people who have stood by you through every chapter of your life. The right man will never make you choose between him and them. He will support you in keeping both. Never give up your financial independence. Maintaining your financial independence is one of the most powerful things you can do for yourself. It gives you freedom, security, and control over your own life. Yet many women find themselves in relationships where they slowly start relying on a man for financial support, sometimes without even realizing it. While it may seem harmless at first, letting him pay for more things, quitting a job to support his dreams, or giving up a career to focus solely on the relationship, it can eventually lead to a situation where you feel trapped, unable to make decisions on your own terms. Financial independence is not just about money. It's about power, choices, and self-respect. When you have your own income, you don't have to stay in a situation that doesn't serve you. You don't have to tolerate mistreatment because you're financially dependent on someone else. You don't have to ask permission to make decisions about your own life. You have the freedom to walk away if you need to, knowing that you can take care of yourself. One of the biggest risks of giving up your financial independence is losing your sense of control. If your partner is the only one bringing in money, it can create an imbalance in the relationship where he has more say in decisions simply because he holds financial power. This can lead to feelings of insecurity, resentment, and even manipulation. A relationship should be based on mutual respect and partnership, not financial dependence. Many women give up their financial independence because they believe that their partner will always provide for them. While it's wonderful to have a partner who wants to support you, life is unpredictable. Relationships change, people change, and circumstances change. If something were to happen, whether it's a breakup, a financial crisis, or an unexpected life event, you need to know that you can stand on your own 2 feet. Relying solely on someone else's income can put you in a vulnerable position, making it harder to leave a toxic situation or make decisions that are best for you. Having your own financial resources also allows you to pursue your passions, invest in your dreams, and create the life you truly want. Whether it's traveling, furthering your education, starting a business, or simply having the ability to make choices without asking for permission, financial independence gives you the ability to live life on your terms. It empowers you to contribute equally in a relationship rather than feeling like you owe someone for supporting you. A healthy relationship should encourage both partners to be financially independent. The right man will never expect you to give up your career, your ambitions, or your ability to take care of yourself. Instead, he will support your goals, respect your independence, and appreciate that you bring financial stability to the relationship as well. Never let love be a reason to sacrifice your financial security. A strong relationship is one where both partners support each other while maintaining their own independence. Because the best kind of love is one where you stay together by choice, not because you feel financially stuck.